My name is Krystal, and I'm sharing my story about breaking stigma involving mental illness and infertility. Both of those subjects are something that I've been dealing with and have learned there's not a whole lot of public education about and a lot of stigma surrounding, which makes it difficult to be able to move forward in healing with them. So I have been diagnosed with probably one of the most stigmatized mental illnesses in the psychology field, borderline personality disorder. A lot of times, if you're familiar with it, it brings about a lot of negative thoughts regarding maybe attention-seeking, manipulation, suicidality, dangerous even, and it's a very poor understanding of what BPD is about. Being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder was incredibly difficult for me because I have a degree in psychology and have worked in the mental health field long enough to know what the stigma is, and I was not separated from that myself. So when I received the diagnosis, I was devastated because I knew what the world would see me as, and I was actually projecting that into what I was seeing me as well. So I liken it to tearing down a curtain. Initially, I had always known that there was something else going on besides maybe just depression and anxiety. I knew there were a lot of unanswered reasons for some symptoms I was having, and I kind of knew that I fit into the BPD category but wanted nothing to do with the diagnosis because of the stigma involved. So I had created this monster on the other side of a curtain that I was terrified of having any kind of part of a relationship with. And I imagined this thing to be huge and ugly and vicious and mean. And when my therapist told me, you know, I understand you through borderline personality thinking, she tore that curtain down and kind of forced me to look at this monster I had created in my mind. And I realized that it really wasn't as bad as I thought. It was kind of small, not quite so intimidating, and I figured out I could probably learn to live with this. So what it really did for me was provide a blueprint for me and explained a lot of what was happening in my life, why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and then allowed me to have some sort of path to go forward to be able to kind of help bring myself to a place where I can cope with it and better control some of the symptoms. So from there, I began my journey with therapy. It's been 3 years and probably another solid 3 years to go. And I also did dialectical behavioral therapy, which was developed by a psychologist who also has borderline personality disorder. And that allowed me to kind of foresee triggering events that would cause severe emotional reactions, and being able to predict that was going to happen and to be able to see when it was happening and to be able to combat it and kind of have a more healthier thought process towards things. But mind you, this is taking a lifetime of thought and we're flipping it around, literally rewiring my brain. So this is a long process. A lot of people when diagnosed with something like this feel like they can't succeed in life, and that's a misconception because I'm very successful. I've been happily married for 7 years. I am a nurse and I'm doing very well, and I'm pursuing grad school to get my doctorate in nursing in mental health. So really it just provides an answer, but it doesn't stop you from doing anything that you want to do in your life. Alongside of this, I also got the message that my husband and I were going to struggle with infertility. And both of these things are very common in our society, with mental health being 1 in 4 people diagnosed and infertility 1 in 8. And some people, obviously, like myself, have both. And as far as like reaching out for support, I found out that people do not like to talk about either one of these things. There's a shame involved with both of them, especially with infertility and having a fetal loss, you know, miscarriage. People just are very hush-hush. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to grieve alone. My mom was diagnosed with cancer in the midst of all of this, and I got to see the people rally around her and support her. And talking to her, I was experiencing a lot of the same thoughts that she was and feelings, but I didn't have anybody, to have my back because I wasn't allowed to talk about these things because it's uncomfortable. So I want to end that. I have joined the National Alliance for Mental Illness, which our main focus is breaking stigma. I've been very outspoken about our fertility journey, and I've had several people approach me either starting the journey themselves or maybe have gone through it and have some sort of success story to offer. And I just want people to know that they're not struggling alone. Look around you, there's bound to be somebody experiencing something that you're going through. And I found that because of this, there's not a whole lot of public education about ways to help with the fertility journey. There's a lot of fertility treatments that are available, some very natural, while others are much more scientific, so to speak. And I've met people who have been years that they're struggling with this and they haven't ever seen a reproductive endocrinologist or aren't aware that there's ways to track your ovulation. And this is not really acceptable in my mind because this is a common thing and we need to be able to help each other through this and have some sort of pathway that people can know that there's an outcome, not just give up. So I've been very open about the treatments that we've been doing, and my ability to explain the scientific side of it or medical side of it is good because of my nursing background. So I am able to provide that as well as the emotional impact. And I think probably the biggest thing is helping people understand that it's okay to be upset, that's okay to grieve. It's actually very good to grieve. And not to take emotions that are really difficult as bad or negative. Because we are all human, we experience a rainbow of emotions on purpose, and none of them are bad. We just need to learn how to regulate them or how to respond to them and accept them. A lot of people like to reach out and say, with the best intentions, you just need to stop feeling sad. You just need to think about all the good things in your life. You just need to stop thinking about it. You'll get pregnant as soon as you stop trying. Stop stressing about it. When the people in those situations don't need advice. We don't need somebody to fix the problem. We just need to know that you're there. And the best way to do that, honestly, is just to say to somebody, I love you and I'm here for you. I have a shoulder for you to cry on if you need it. And may not take you up on it, but the fact that I know that you're there is all I need. And I think that's all that we need for support, is just to meet each other with where we are and to accept the fact that a person's struggling and just let them know that you love them. So yes, I am dealing with infertility, and yes, I have a mental illness, but I refuse to be stigmatized. I am stigma-free.